Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about the sixth dimension and how many of you are already tapping into it, feeling the connection with the awareness of six-dimensional consciousness. So many of us may already be familiar with the third, fourth, and fifth dimensional consciousness, where a person that is quite aware in the third dimensional consciousness may define him or herself with all the material, everything that you have done, everything that you have, everything that you are, everything that you may be thinking about. You may be defined by that. While a person who's expanded him or herself into the fourth dimensional consciousness may start to recognize that in the realm of thinking, there's also the past and the future, and there's not much difference. Like in the realm of thinking, the past and the future may seem quite similar. They both seem just as a memory. When you think about the past, it's a memory. When you think about the future, it also feels like a memory. So you start to become aware that you're also your past and you're also your future. You're becoming more familiar with this concept that you're not just this being in the present moment that has possessed certain things, created certain things. You're also everything your past made you to be. You're like your ancestry and your education, all the information that you contain in your mind, in your memory. So you've become quite intelligent because of that. But you're also the future, you're also a potential. So you know that you're not just who you are right now, you're also something more you can become. This is the four-dimensional awareness. While the fifth dimensional consciousness is a whole another level, because it's like stepping into a quiet room surrounded with infinite screens on which there is a movie of your life. And on each screen, that movie is a little bit different. You're the main character, but things are different. Somewhere you're healthy, somewhere you're abundant, somewhere you're all together, somewhere you're having different experiences, infinite different screens. And then this fifth dimensional consciousness is showing you possibilities. It is showing you that you're more like a wave than a particle. You're more like a conscious wave that is, through process of focus, through process of thinking, through process of doing and feeling, is manifesting particles out of the waves of your state of consciousness. So you're kind of manifesting the life that is the most familiar to you. So out of infinite different movies, you choose for yourself the one that's the most familiar to you. But then the purpose of this fifth dimensional consciousness is for you to wake up to the degree where you become aware that you are the one that is writing a script for each movie. And as soon as a person becomes aware that you're the writer of the script in which you're also the main character, you really start noticing what you're doing. You really start catching yourself. You really start thinking about the idea how much your thoughts have to do with your life. And for those who really believe that your thoughts have something to do with your reality, wouldn't you stop and really start catching the thoughts you don't want to think anymore? So you would replace them for the ones that you want to think, the ones that empower you. So you become aware that the words you speak are laws, that everything you say becomes a law in your life. And every time you choose to think greater thoughts, you partially become a bit greater. So every time you become familiar with the idea that you are a creator, you ask yourself, am I in a state of a creator right now, or am I in a state of a reactor back in 3D, right? So the purpose of this fifth dimensional consciousness is to notice that you can create any kind of a life you truly want. You can create any type of a lifestyle you want, and that you are truly blessed, that every one of us is truly blessed, and equally we all possess a capacity to create anything we choose. But then what is the sixth dimensional consciousness? Well, the sixth dimensional consciousness is again a whole another level, because on the sixth dimensional consciousness we learn the purpose of creation, the purpose of why you can create all kinds of different possibilities. As soon as you start manifesting things in your life, many of you have become more familiar with this concept. When you start manifesting things in your life, you also recognize the responsibility behind it. You recognize that everything has its dual opposite, right? The polarity. So for example, when you manifest a bunch of money, you also manifest a bunch of taxes, right? When you manifest a relationship, you also manifest the responsibilities that come with relationships. When you manifest a new car, you also manifest expenses that come with this new car and things like that. So you start to learn the responsibilities behind all the creations. You start to recognize everything that you want brings with it also something that you don't want. And then on this level, you start to learn the purpose behind all of that. You start recognizing, well, it's not about liking something and not liking something else. It's about acceptance. And then building up this even deeper understanding behind all the creation, which is connection. It is contribution. It is support. It is the spread of a web that only makes everything around you more accepted and appreciated, and in higher sense, or the highest possible sense, more loving. So the sixth dimensional consciousness then is like this voice of God, this voice of intuition that speaks to you and navigates you through the process of creation. So at some point you come to the realization where you don't want just randomly create stuff in your life anymore. It's a fun process, but at some point you come to the realization where you recognize, well, I have a purpose here to kind of embody. So you start creating things based by purpose, based by inspiration, based by higher calling. And once you start doing something like that, you will start to feel that all the manifestation starts happening even easier. But it's not important anymore. Now what's important is a sense of purpose. It's a sense of calling. It's a sense of deeper connection. It's a sense of higher love. It's a sense of higher joy. And it's also a deep sense of passion. So this is the sixth dimensional consciousness, which brings a strong sense of purpose into the process of creation. Like now you know exactly why you want to manifest this certain amount of money, because with that you will be able to create this and this and that will help this amount of people, that will bring this kind of help to this kind of problem, and this amount of people will benefit from all of that, and so on and so on, and it never ends. So it's like a deeper sense of intuitive guidance, and many people are already tapping into it, becoming more familiar with this concept, and it is very powerful. So why it is important to know? Well, because many times when people come across this kind of teachings or this kind of information, they soon start to think like, what's my purpose? What's my position here? Without even taking care of their lives at the third dimensional level, and then learning to think more correctly at the fourth dimensional level, and then learning to manifest their desirable lives on the fifth dimensional level, so then they can really become more familiar with this sense of a purpose. But again, it's, it depends of the position of each individual. Some people become immediately aware of their purpose, and some people need to firstly master the process of manifestation and kind of build comfortable lives for themselves, so then they can really invest all of themselves into a life of mission, of purpose. So the point here truly is that you stop looking onto life through a certain lens of ideas that just came to you, but start listening yourself more. Ideas are like guiding mechanism, but what you know within is how to pick the right guidance. It's how to choose the right path. So as much as you're studying different subjects and paying attention to different ideas, you need to be so in tune with yourself so you can easily know which one to pick, which one resonates with you, which one speaks to you. That's why it's so important to really have a great amount of clarity in your mind and in your heart, so you don't just jump around and look for different ways of entertainment, but actually find what speaks to you, and then always have these moments of quietness where you can ask yourself how to integrate it in my life, how to learn it more, like what I need to know so I can master this knowledge, and what I need to practice daily so I can become even better with it. That's why it's so important to understand that there are levels to our understanding, and there are levels to the expansion of our consciousness. And many people are not even good at living on the third dimensional level. They are feeling like victims, and they're gossiping and complaining about everything, not being aware that everything we are right now is the byproduct of what we've been through. Also genetically, what our ancestors have been through. So we hold within our DNA memories from all the past lives, everything we've been through. So we are so much more than we allow ourselves to believe that we are. But then we can also become so much more than we allow ourselves to believe that we are. So energy holds within a potential. In quantum physics, atom can become anything it chooses to be. So it's really the act of an observer that affects on what kind of particles this atom will manifest, so how it will show up in your world. So once you understand that through your imagination, you can think greater things, you can make up greater things. And if you learn to invest some of your time into managing your imagination the way that you can enter a new life, like seeing yourself living three-dimensionally, a new life, using all your five senses in that new life, you're literally becoming a new self, like a different version of yourself that is living somewhere else in a different type of a reality. And every time you do that, you're training your senses to sense, to observe that new life. And what you're doing, you're giving a signal to this conscious energy, to the field of atoms that can eventually show up as all these new possibilities in your life. It's a process of creation. So it's important to become more familiar with all these different ideas, so then you can think about it and you can brainstorm around it, and you can ask yourself, like, if I really want to create a greater life for myself, I need to notice what's the life I don't want to repeat anymore. What are the things I don't want to repeat in my life anymore? And what's the part of me that I will leave behind right here, right now? Like, this is where I stop being myself so I can become the new self. So this is a very, very precise project, the inner work we're going through. And every time we do like 1% of progress at it, we'll most probably experience tiny synchronicity that will show us a feedback that we've done something right. So I hope you found great value in today's video. A different concept, but as we're leveling up as humanity, as consciousness, it's time to become more familiar with all of that, with how incredible we are, how incredible you are, and how much more you can become when you choose to become more, when you recognize that you truly are blessed, that you truly are an incredible creative being that is still becoming quite familiar with all your creative capacities. So to be creative doesn't just mean that you're an artist or something like that. It means that you can choose through your creative imagination to think a new life. You can choose to imagine a new life. And when something becomes really important to you, like when a change becomes more important to you than your present life, you will invest more of yourself into what you want to see in your life, and you will stop thinking so much and focusing so much onto what you don't want in your life. And that will become a cause of a new effect in your life, right? So my friends, I hope you found great value in today's video. I hope you've enjoyed in today's artwork as well. To anyone who resonates with it, you can actually buy prints of my art on our store, AttractPassion.com. Go and check out. There are all my paintings there in different sizes, so check it out. And also to anyone who would love to work with me one-on-one, you can book a calling on the link in the description of this video. So I'm excited to meet you. My friends, till next time, one love.